Some of you guys may be wondering why I'm not wearing my traditional red shirt. Granted, I still got the red shoes, but why not the red shirt? It's because of my favorite red trucks. I find if I stand in front of a red truck, that happens. Speaking of which, I'm excited, let's talk. Hey everyone, it's Josh at Kenworth of Richfield and another red truck. Today, first off, I want to thank you guys for stopping back. We're going to talk about this 2020 T880. Now, I don't know if you remember the Swiss Army truck that I talked about before. This truck has very similar specs except for, I like the color. Granted, I like the white truck too, but yeah. So let's go ahead and do the usual. Let's do some B-roll, let's do some fun music. Well, let's get into it.
I don't mind if you don't mind running like a rolling stone. I paid my dues, but I can't refuse, so won't you throw this dog a bone? When I see that girl out on the road, she rocks my world, and I feel like I'm on overload. Hey, 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 hey.
I have been on a roll with this front to back stuff, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue with that. In this one, we do have the toe pin out front here because this truck, you never know where it's gonna end up. Tapered front bumper out here, just a hair behind that. We've got Kenworth's wire mesh grille. Once again, not plastic, metal, because there's a bunch of valuable stuff behind there that we need to protect. One thing that I've always noticed looking at this grille, and it's really been apparent as I've done some of these comparison videos. When you look at this grille and the T800 grille, it's one of those things where you can see the relationship between them. They're very different, but you can still see that relationship between them. To me, it's one of those things where Kenworth does a great job of putting that heritage in, besides just the quality of the trucks. When we go back just that step further, multiple reflector composite headlight here. Just another great way to get light on down the road for you. Pretty sure you're curious as to what's under the hood. Let's go there next. We've actually got quite a bit of cool stuff to talk about here, so let's get into the engine bay. 485 horsepower, 1,650 foot-pound of torque, Cummins X15. Now once again, this is the Performance Series engine, so it gives you that extra 200 RPM to work with on there. As always, everything's easy to reach. The only thing you need to fill ever on this is on this side, that's the coolant. Everything else is on that side for you to work with, whether it be checking the oil, getting the windshield washer fluid in, checking air lines, power steering fluid, anything like that's all over on that side. Now, the one thing that this does have also that you need to check on this side, got our air cleaner minder. Make sure you look at that thing every once in a while, will you? So what goes on behind the engine? Well, that's an Eaton 10-speed ultra-shift transmission. Now, I know some guys get grumbly about this. We are selling more and more ultra-shift transmissions every day. We're also selling fewer and fewer manual transmissions every day. There has been a shift in the thinking behind it. When you get used to this thing, you really do like it. To me, it just makes perfect sense to run. Okay, so now let's talk about the stuff that's holding this front end up in the air. Outside to inside, sure, that's what we're gonna go with. Outside, the very outside, Alcoa Dura-Bright wheels. Mild soap and water, wash them off, they stay looking good for a long time. It's pretty simple. Want a truck that's gonna look good and be simple to take care of, right? This 11R 22.5-inch rubber. Now inside the wheels, we've got Bendix disc brakes. Once again, I believe I mentioned this before, front disc brakes, it's now the standard fare from Kenworth. As we go in further, it's a 13.2 front axle. All of this is pointed in the right direction via Shepherd gearbox. As we look down the side of the truck, I believe you're going to notice one of my favorite features of this particular truck. Did you notice it's red? I don't know. I don't know if you saw that. And to me, if you've got a truck that's this red, that looks this good, you do have to add a few extra little touches just to set it off. So we've got the stainless panel down here. This is also where your engine heater plug-in is for you. We've got 120 gallons of polished fuel tank there. Once again, it's got to be shiny at least, right? Sticking in that theme, we went with the polished cover for the DEF tank also. Now, in this, Kenworth does have the traditional mirrors that they've had forever where you can hang from them, you can do chin-ups and all this other stuff that I've done. I often get asked what this is. This is actually the temperature sensor for it. Tells you what the temperature is outside on the inside of the cab. We've got the mirrors here, heated, convex one on the bottom, top one's always power. Same thing on the other side with that. Going down the road, I've driven so many other trucks where you get that little bit of a shake out of the mirror, and you could tell that there's a car there. You know that something's behind you, but it's this miscellaneous, like, ghostly shape because it's shaking so bad. This car can be halfway down your trailer, and you're going to be able to read the hood emblem on it. These mirrors are just that solid, and it's one of the great things that Kenworth does with these trucks. Something else in this is they added this rain guard this year. This is now standard equipment. So if you've got the window cracked open a little bit, you're not going to get all sorts of rainwater pouring in there. It's just a nice little touch that lets you get some fresh air when you need it. So guys, there's a couple of things that I don't typically talk about just because I don't usually look up high enough to see them. One, the visor. Nice stainless steel visor, clean, looks good. Second one, up top here, we've got dual air horns for you because if the color isn't loud enough for them to hear, you need another method to be loud. That'll do it. Now, I know I talked about before how this truck is set up to just do everything, right? On this side, we've got a 75-gallon hydraulic tank. Of course, it's polished. Got caps on it right now because we don't know what PTO, what pump or anything like that you need, but the hydraulic tank, it's already sitting here and ready for you. Also, full deck plating on this truck. We don't know what you need to get to, so we just figured we make it easy to get to anything. On the back of the cab, we've actually got two work lights for you. Flip those on at night. You've got plenty of visibility in the back so you can see what you're doing. On that side, we've got our battery box. It's also got two switches on it. One for each set of batteries in there. That way, truck's gonna sit for a while. Go ahead and flip one of those. Now, something that I will tell you on the battery boxes and on those switches is Kenworth recommends spending 3 minutes after you shut the truck off before you hit either one of those battery disconnects. The reason being on that is each computer on this truck goes through its own shutdown procedure. Kind of like when you close your computer at home. When you figure the number of computers in here that have to do that, it takes it a couple of minutes. So give it 3 minutes, then hit the switches. What does this have out back? Well, I am glad you asked. Let's once again start on the outside and work our way in. Alcoa Durbright wheels. It's 11R 22.5-inch rubber. These are the Bridgestone M799 tires on this truck. It's a nice tire that goes down the road well. Still does okay if you get into some gravel in that. Inside of that, we've got drum brakes, Meritor 40,000-pound rear ends, and the AG400 suspension. Once again, this is the 8-bag suspension. We went with it just because it is so versatile and works so well in low traction situations. I am actually going to make the interior portion of this truck a little bit shorter than I typically do, and the big reason being is it's almost 90 degrees outside. I'm sitting in a giant greenhouse. Now, I just ran the air conditioning for a few minutes to get it somewhat cooled off in here, but I still feel like just plant in a greenhouse that's in Arizona way too hot. Yeah, it's just not good. This truck, inside, everything you need. It's got basic gauges. We've got 4 extra gauges. We've got oil temp, trans temp, suspension load, and boost. It's got the leather wrapped smart wheel, which I think is a great idea in a truck like this that's going to be just all over the place. Super durable, feels good on the hands. It's just a great way to cap off the steering column there. As always, power windows, heated mirrors, power mirrors, all the standard lights, With this being the Ultra Shift transmission, your shifter's right here, Jake brakes right here, everything super well thought out, all within easy reach. What more could you really ask for? I'm gonna get out of here before I cook. Going through this truck, I realize once again why we get this spec in so often. It really is a great universal spec. There's just so many applications that this truck could be used for. It's almost an endless list. I can't think of too many spots where it wouldn't work. I'm sure you guys will let me know though, so if you want, put 1 or 2 in the comments. Also, what would you do differently? What would you like to see differently? But just give me one thing. Gonna make it your guys' job to help me spec the next truck. I obviously like it for the whole red thing, but that's you guys knew that. So do me a favor, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. By all means, hit the notifications bell. That way you guys get notified when we're gonna release another video. I've been decent about every week at around 11:30 on Thursday, but you never know, I may surprise you with one here coming up. Give me the thumbs up if you think I earned it. As always, stay safe out there, keep it rubber side down. Yep, I'll catch you on the flip side.